morning, Spain. How lovely to have you with us once again. And not just anywhere, but here at the Hard Rock Hotel in Marbella for our summer season. We have a great program lined up for you. We're going to be embracing our inner child, adopting the child's pose, learning how to complain in Spain, very important on many occasions. We're going to be looking at some great summer reads with the lovely Hannah Murray and a delicious simplified Spanish recipe with Chef Nick. We are going to be looking at the most expensive spice in Spain, saffron, and a reminder that the 37th America's Cup is coming up in August in Barcelona. So much to get through. This is just a snippet of what's coming, apart from learning another new language, English, Spanish, and the language of the fan. And what better way to start the program than with the general manager of the Hard Rock Hotel Marbella and the deputy manager, Ignacio and Pablo and lovely Hannah. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This is very exciting. What a lovely start to the summer season, being here at the Hard Rock Hotel. Thank you very much. It's a great collaboration of brands. We're very excited.
Well, thank you, Nicole. It's a huge pleasure to have you all here. And I think it's going to be a super fun summer. So really looking forward for this new season with you guys.
We are very, you have to be here, well, you are with us, through the camera to appreciate the fun, the excitement, the activities, while at the same time being a really luxurious quality hotel.
I think we are very lucky here because we have a super nice building, something historic, something which is from the city. That we have actually kind of retaken, no? and brought back to life. Hard Rock brand, we know this is a fun place. We push entertainment to be kind of the soul of the property, but also at the same time, as I said, fantastic property. So you combine the bones that we have here with our soul, and I think we are bringing a fantastic product to Marbella.
Pablo, to be involved in the launch, because it's just 2 years in, it's a big responsibility. Obviously you both have a lot of experience from other hotels. Is it within the group or did they bring you in? How did you get involved, Pablo?
Well, I was part in the group since a few years already. Now I just come from Hard Rock Tenerife also. And I'm from Malaga. So it's the perfect fit, I think. I know the brand, I know the company, and I'm so happy to be here with this new family. And also I wanted to say that for Marbella must be very happy also to have a brand like Hard Rock here, because we are kind of a different status, different luxury that any other hotel in the area has. So Hard Rock will make it happen and will show the difference they have about hospitality also.
You didn't used to allow children in the hotel, but that's changed. As of February, you now have children are welcome. Dogs are welcome up to 10 kilos, which is also a big plus, all us dog lovers. And you have a lot of activities, you do a lot of musical events here. Yeah. Tell us a little about what we can expect from the summer season.
Very good points. I mean, if you like to travel with your friends, that means with your pets, we are super happy to take them here. As you said, we take dogs up to 10 kilos. Also, small pigs we can bring in. And then we do have a fantastic spa menu for them. We have a room service menu for them. We do some amenities in the room. And at the end, we really try to make something special for your best friend when they come here with you. And also with kids.
And the kids too. And the
kids are also accepted now.
Dogs, kids.
This year we changed a bit the style of the hotel. We still are super fun hotel, entertaining property, but we brought in kids because we think that the family should be able to access to all this fun. No? So no limit on ages. We have actually now more than 65 rooms dedicated to families. Next year we're building a teen club. I mean, it's not that we are mainly focused on really babies. It's more we're looking at ages between 5 and 15. But we also want to become a fun place for them. So this combination at the end brings in the whole family. So you can bring your pets and your kids both all together.
And it's nice because you do look after the interests of everybody, in the sense the Hard Rock Hotel Marbella has become a zero hero venue, which is free soft drinks for designated driver. but also in the sense of this dedication to teens, that through the Hard Rock, having fun, being in the atmosphere, learning that a virgin cocktail can be as fun as anything else. It's a great opportunity to embrace them into the attitude of partying and having fun, but doing so responsibly.
Yeah.
And it's a very responsible company within the team, not imposed by the powers that be. As I understand it, you do a lot of charitable events, you bring in old age people, you do a lot of... Tell us a bit about that aspect of your team.
I think first moment you brought in the Zero Hero proposal, we loved it. No, it goes really, really along with our style. So we promote the healthy way of having fun, and also if you do it in that way, we give you a compensation. We give you reward for it, which is lovely, no? And also this really matches with our culture club, which is a club we have in the hotel, which is run by the staff. It's not that the managers, we are actually pushing on it. It's led by a few members of the staff, and we are focused on connecting with the community. You know? So like a couple of weeks ago, we brought in a few members from Residential Carmen, and we do a little concert for them here. Sometimes we've gone there with a DJ, and then we've been dancing with them for a while. We went with the Red Cross to plant trees, and a few more actions that we've taken in these 2 years. And so we try to do at least something each month. And as I said, we bring it for the staff to do it because it's something that for them to feel really proud of. It's not that the company is pushing them to do something. It's something that comes out of them. And at the end, I think they love it because it's a little chance you have each month to do something for the community, to give something back to the world, which also connects with another club which is called Save the Planet. And this is all for our team, so I mean, we love it.
It fits in perfectly with the philosophy of Good Morning Spain, and undeniably it's going to be a super successful summer, but from here on out, the Hard Rock Hotel Marbella is firmly established, and we are privileged to be here. Ignacio, Pablo, thank you ever so much. We look forward to seeing you a lot more over the coming weeks.
Welcome to your new home.
A lot of Brits find it difficult to learn Spanish. Perhaps you'll find it easier to learn how to speak the language of the fan. In Spain, the fan is obviously used a lot because it's very hot, but it's not just for the heat. In the olden days, it had a language for the ladies to be able to express themselves without getting caught, perhaps, so you could be a little bit of a pickle. And to be able to flirt in a very Catholic country where you had to be chaperoned by basically someone wherever you went and whatever you did, it turned out to be quite an important way of communication. So with everybody, good morning.
Good morning.
Lovely to see you, Kate. Lovely to see you, Linda. We are going to learn a little bit of the language of the fans. Do you use fans as a general rule?
Yeah.
Yes.
I use them. Yeah.
Do you like know how to open it like the Spanish do?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
We've
But
been practicing.
if you don't know at home, let me show you. It's like learning to use chopsticks. It has its basic, instructions, and if you follow them, it kind of works. If you're right-handed, hold the fan in your right hand and hold the first rib between your thumb and your index finger. And then we're basically just going to, holding that still, flick to the left and then turn. Flick and turn. Flick and turn. Flick and turn. And then once we're using our fan and we've opened it like a professional, we can then talk with it. So for example, if you have the front of the fan outwards, that means yes. If you turn it backwards, it means no. And then if you hold it underneath your eyes, forwards, it means I want to see you.
Oh, I love that.
Or I don't want to see you. And then if I want to speak to you, I don't want to speak to you. And then, for example, if you hold it and swing it, it means I'm thinking about it.
Oh, I love that.
I'm thinking about it.
Thinking about what?
If you hold it backwards and like wrap it on your wrist, it means I don't like you.
Oh dear.
No, really, it's amazing the level of communication. And then if you tap it on your shoulder like this, it means I don't trust you. I think you're cheating on me. Yes.
And wasn't there a time one as well?
Yes. I think the left shoulder is the hour. and the right shoulder's the minute. So if you say, for example, I want to see you, and then you would go at 1, 2, 3, 30, for example.
That is brilliant.
I love it.
It is, it's really good. And then obviously the ladies use a fan, there's a way of saying, like you fan yourself, but you can fan 2 people. So pa mi, pa ti, which is the thing, pa mi, pa ti, pa mi, pa ti, pa ti. Or the older ladies are really just pa mi, for me, for me.
I like the one, wasn't there one about if your father or husband's coming near?
Yes, it is. Yeah. This is like, I think, I want to, like, come and see me. And this one is, stay away, my husband or my father is near.
I love that.
Warning, warning.
Warning, warning. So if any of you ladies want to be a little bit sneaky, why don't you try and learn the language of the fan? Shall we see if we can open it as the Spaniards do in one go? You ready?
Yep. Are we ready,
1,
ladies?
2, 3. Even I could. When you think of car or motorbike insurance, think Linea Directa. When you most need your insurance company, Linea Directa are there for you. With tow trucks, courtesy car, mechanics, legal advice, even overnight stay in a hotel if you need it. There's a whole department dedicated to us Brits with people who speak English there to help us. If you're looking for an insurance policy that really takes all your needs into consideration whilst you're driving in Spain, then Linea Directa really is the company for you. Why don't you give them a call? 952 14 78 34 or contact them online. When we move to Spain or we're here on holiday, it's very easy for the English to get frustrated with the administrative systems and how everything takes so much longer. There is a word that's mañana, it means tomorrow. In the north of Spain, it kind of does mean tomorrow, but the further south you go, it can mean literally when you get down to the south coast, just not today. We don't know when, but it's just not today. So there are times that we want to complain and that we have a reason to complain. Sometimes we just complain because it's different and it's how the system works. But if we do need to complain, the lovely Neil Hesketh is here to give you your consumer rights and tell you how to do it.
Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning, Neil,
everyone.
and good morning, Simon. Lovely to see you.
And you.
An exciting topic because I'm always getting emails in and things. How do I complain? But that's, people get very frustrated with Spain, don't
Very
they?
frustrated. How to complain in Spain, Nicole? I mean, it's something that we come across every day. Some of us are good at it, some of us are bad at it. Let's take you through some of the steps, perhaps make life a little bit easier for you. And I think the first point to make, if you're not happy with the service or something, always try and resolve it at the same time while you're there and get it sorted. We'll talk in a minute about some of the official channels you can go to if it's a serious complaint. But always try and resolve the situation there. And my advice, I call it the C.P.R. of complaining, which is be clear, be polite, and be reasonable. I'm British, most people here are British. We tend to be very diplomatic when we speak, we don't like to offend people. You really have to be very clear what you want when you're complaining. Let me give you an example. I was at a restaurant recently with a group of people, quite an important meal. They sat us down, the restaurant's half empty, and it was quite cold because we were underneath the air conditioning unit. And after a moment, people started putting their jackets on. And in that very English way, diplomatically, not telling me it's too cold here, but trying to indicate it. So when the waitress came over, I said, it's really cold here, in a very English, non-confrontational way. And she said, yes, because it's under the air conditioning, and then walked away. And that's a really good example of really when we have to say what we mean. So when she came back, what I said to her is, it's too cold here, can we move to another table, please? And it was resolved. Okay, so we really need to be clear, but also polite. Okay, it's no good shouting. I think all of us have had experiences here with bureaucracy in Spain where something's not gone right in a town hall or whatever, and we've ended up shouting because we felt frustrated. That is not going to...
Particularly in restaurants, they'll say, I would like this dish, but I don't want this, and I add that and take that off. And then when it arrives wrong, how can you not know? I told you, and it's like, they're doing their best.
But if a mistake is made, and mistakes do happen, we have to be polite, because if we get aggressive, people are going to be aggressive back with us, so we need to be polite. And the third thing is be reasonable. I mean, going back to my air conditioning example, I just wanted to move tables, but don't start claiming that I want money back on my food. Or, for example, say we're waiting to hand the car hire back at the end of the holiday and we miss our flight because there's a queue, don't try and get compensation back for your flight. Be reasonable. So C.P.R, clear, polite, reasonable.
Right, and you're bringing up some good examples where that would be pertinent.
But then if it doesn't start to go wrong, let's talk a little bit about the complaints form, because this is a very important part of life in Spain that I think many of us don't know about. In Spanish, the word for complaints form is Hoja de Reclamación, and you can see these in signs and lots of businesses you go into.
They have to have them by law.
They have to have them by law, and they're real and they exist, and often you see them at petrol stations in these huge signs. We have a complaints form. Asking for one of those will put the fear of God into people, because they're very serious documents, and if they don't have them, you're entitled to call the local police, so the sort of town hall police. Don't call the Guardia Civil or the national police to come and get that form. So it's very important, and they have to reply to you. They have to reply to you. The businesses tend to be retail businesses, shops, dry cleaners, restaurants, hotels,
Well,
anyone like
I had
that.
one.
Yeah, but by law you have to have them. So, I had a shop for 2 years. I don't think anyone ever actually got as far as getting the Hoja de Reclamación. But if you ask for it, it's a very good way to get things moving, because people are scared of it.
Yeah, because it goes immediately, it gets processed. They have to by law.
Well, they have to
And
reply
it's
to
on
you.
their record.
They have to reply to you within about a week, 2 weeks. And then if they haven't, and you've got a right to take it in to the town hall. And there's an office in the town hall, every town hall has it, called the OMIC. The OMIC desk, and it's a consumer's office. And you can take it in, and they take it up with the business. So it's a very important technique. But I think the main point here is ask for it and threaten to fill it in, and you see how things get moving. Here's an example. We'll have a look at that there on the screen.
Hoja de quejas y reclamaciones.
Yes.
Complaints and reclaims.
And each of your different regions in Spain has a different one, but it's the same form because it's the regional governments that control this. Okay. Importantly, there's some business sectors, industries that don't apply this. And I think we're going to put up some information. So, for example, if it's a doctors you're complaining about, you would go to their local college, their local association to complain. If it's an airline, there's a special body to complain for if you've got a problem at the airport with the airlines. Banks as well, you complain to the Bank of Spain. So there's certain sectors, energy companies is another one example, that don't use this system, and you have a special body. But I think it's very important, we get frustrated sometimes, there's just no one to complain to. Who do I complain to in Spain? There are routes, they are effective, they take time, and you need to be patient.
I'm in the middle of one of those now.
Doing an Hoja?
Yeah, with a vehicle purchase, but and now we're at the point of having to pay for vehicle inspections, but to actually get that form, they were quite reluctant to.
Well, by law, you
yeah.
have to.
And then once we got it, filled it in, and then we were bounced around between the Ayuntamiento, the police, and the office for the consumer office, which was shut, and had a handwritten note on the door, go to the Ayuntamiento. By the time, like you say, by the time we got up there,
it's patience. It's
we were
patience.
really stressed.
But just the threat of it can move.
That's your CPR moment comes in, just, be
Yeah.
clear, be polite,
Yeah.
be reasonable.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, they can, particularly in Spain, and this I learned many, many years ago, and it doesn't matter if you're in the north or the south, the administrative systems, if they don't like you, they will just take your file, and you want it processed quickly, it will just keep getting put to the bottom of the pile.
It's life in general, but any of these routes, you should try and resolve it with the company first, whether it's directly or with the Hoja or with the airlines. Before you apply to the bodies, you're obliged to try and resolve it with the company. But the best advice is try and solve it before it gets any more, and don't just go to Google or TripAdvisor and write a bad review. Try and resolve it in the moment, because that's the worst thing. Because as business owners, when someone makes a big complaint and they've not even come to you in a restaurant and said the food wasn't good and given you a chance to solve it, to then read it on TripAdvisor is a terrible way to do it. But enjoy Spain, because
there's a lot to enjoy. I think is that we have time frames and ways that we work back in the UK that just are different here. Their processes are longer. It is a bit more laid back, but that's why we like it.
Absolutely.
We have to embrace it.
Absolutely.
Thank you ever so much, Neil.
Thank you.
After all the stress of complaining in Spain, it's time to relax a little bit. And Kate, you've been at yoga this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. A great way to de-stress and to relax is yoga, but even just doing those type of exercises at home helps, doesn't it?
It really is. Like, I don't know about you guys, but it is one of my favorite things to do. Like, with all the crazy busyness that goes on, like just taking those couple, even if it's just a couple of minutes, if you can't do a full class, that's an hour or, 45, just to take a 5-minute session where you just close the eyes down, do some nice breathing, stretch out all the muscles, a little bit of a child's pose.
Yeah. You talk about the child's pose a lot. So when you like crouch down and stretch your arms out, it seems to like it really does like literally stretch all those different bones and muscles, but it doesn't feel strenuous. It's like that relaxing stretch, isn't it?
It is really, really nice. And do you know what? They do it so many times when you're doing yoga. They say if you do just need a moment that you can't be doing, downward dog or the pose that I do, you just take a child pose, just relax, just
the
stretch
downward
it
dog's
out.
the one when you're all fours, right? Because all these names, it just sounds so complicated. And I always think of yoga as difficult and very tiring because you have to hold these strange poses. But then when we talk about it with you or do the classes, that it's not all like that. It's just an aspect of it.
Yeah, and do you know what as well? I think, I didn't actually know this before I started doing yoga. I would just, turn up to a class and not even look about what kind of style it is. But there are so many different styles of yoga. So I think that's one thing that I would recommend, that if you are looking for more of a restorative one, then, to go with more of a slower pace. So if you do want more, that really, flows after flows, go to a rocket style class. So just to really think about what you're feeling in your body and to just kind of tune into that and choose the right.
Yoga's like a general brand, and then you've got the different.
Like I do Ashtanga, and that's quite fast between the movements. And I've got a friend who does Yin yoga, which is very, very slow, and it's all very controlled and slowed down. It's all the breathing, and it's completely different workout. It's weird.
It is, isn't it? As you say.
And I've done a yoga of the mind course.
Have you?
Because it's a concept, isn't it? It's not just all about the physical exercise.
No.
It's also having the yogic mind and being a good person and all that kind of philosophy of yoga.
Yeah.
So I've studied that, which is really interesting. So there's so many different aspects.
Are there any
to
main
it.
points in the?
Well, I think like all of these things, it's all about being a good person and kind of putting other people before yourself and thinking before you speak and having good intentions with both your speech and also your actions and all that kind of thing.
Being more deliberate.
Yeah, it's all really interesting and makes a lot of sense, to be honest.
Well, I think we all should do some kind of stretching. I'm probably the worst. I don't do anything, and yet when we do it with the show, then I do.
Yeah.
So it's like, watch the show, because all of us get to actually do something.
Have an excuse to do it, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. It's that encouragement, so you're not doing it alone. So it's really nice that we get to, even just a little bit of stretching.
So good.
And a little bit of winding down.
And a little bit of breathing.
And the breathing, it's a silly thing to say because we breathe all the time. But when we concentrate on our breath, it changes everything.
It really does.
I've learned that through all the programs.
And they often say, the yogis often say, it's not about the pose, it's the breathing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you can regulate your breathing through it, you're putting your body under stress, but you breathe your way through it, and that's what relaxes you and calms you down.
It is.
More so than having the perfect pose.
And it's funny though, isn't it? Because like you say, there is one style that's called Bikram, and it is, you're in a very hot room and you're doing your poses, and it's funny, it is all about your breathing.
Really?
And you have to just breathe through it, train your mind. And if you do that, honestly, you can challenge anything.
I'm thinking of prenatal classes now. Now we know why they do it. Breathe through it.
Yeah.
Breathe through it. Well, let's breathe through into the next segment.
Good morning, Spain.
Make my day. Make my day. Yeah. For that day, you can write. For that day, yeah, you can bear. Going up there. I'm the best, I only speak facts. How them tags? The syllabus stack. Don't really
being a foreigner, moving to Spain and opening up a business is never easy. If you make it to 25 years, that is certainly something to celebrate, which is why we're welcoming to the studio here at the Hard Rock Hotel Marbella none other than Ian. Lovely to meet you. Owner, founder, mastermind behind Essential Magazine. Congratulations, 25 years.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. We're in your territory here in Marbella, your homeland.
Well, yes, we're centered on Marbella, but the magazine actually now goes from Malaga to virtually to Gibraltar. We started a distribution in Malaga last year because Malaga's incredible how it's going up. So, even tempted to do a special, separate edition for Malaga.
Really, there's that much. That much opportunity.
Well, we're thinking about it, but then it would probably need to be a lot more in Spanish. So that involves quite a different set
whole
of
new
logistics.
team.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
basically, because already you have actually a very small team for what one would think for the excellence. And I say this with pride. And really, we all know the magazine.
Yeah.
Every single month, a bumper issue. The articles are so in depth. Nothing's just over the top. Like, it really is informative, things you wouldn't expect, and yet your team is very small for the size of the magazine and the
Well,
scope.
we've become very professional in what we do. We've had 25 years to do that. The main core of the team is small, but then there are a lot of people on the periphery. I mean, there are writers even in UK, Canada, etc., and there are people involved with distribution and photography. So, when we've had Christmas dinners, maybe not so much these days, but when we had company Christmas dinners 10 years ago before the pandemic, we had 40, 50 people there.
Wow.
That included partners, though.
Yeah.
But even so.
Yeah, but and in Spain to have staff is an interesting aspect in itself, but we won't go there at the moment. You just mentioned the pandemic. That actually, like for many people, where they say university produces an opportunity, you took what already existed as the magazine as is online, but you took it to another level. Your wife, Andrea, who's very much part of the magazine with you, really went above and beyond to make the interactive aspect, the videos, it's really alive. The magazine is exceptional online now.
Well, we found ourselves basically stuck at home like everyone else. And we were twiddling our thumbs, and we still actually even had to pay everything because we didn't get any government help at all. And so we just saw our bank balance starting to go down worryingly fast. And we did have an online edition, like you say, but it was basically a static replica of the magazine. So it didn't take too long to start to figure out, well, what else can we do? We can't bring out a print magazine. You're not even allowed to distribute anywhere. And Andrea, having the background of graphic design and digital expertise, she started tinkering, and what she ended up with just blew me and everyone else away.
You did a beautiful write-up on Good Morning Spain when we launched. 3 pages, exciting, and it was so exciting because we could see the actual introduction of the program. It was alive, and that was when I really began to appreciate, like, wow, this thing lives. I mean, it's got a life unto itself, which has expanded even more your reach because you now are read worldwide.
Yes.
Your reach is, there is no further to go. I mean, like, you're everywhere now.
Yes, we have a newsletter which is free to subscribe to. You just go onto our website, and so you can receive every month the newsletter, which has the highlights of what's coming in that month's issue. And we get feedback from everywhere, from the US, from Australia, Germany, Scandinavia. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people know the magazine over 25 years who've been in touch with it at some point and may not necessarily be here all the time or even at all now. So, but they seem to want to keep in touch.
Yeah, it's nice because we see the same with Good Morning Spain. Even if people aren't here, the ability to see what we're up to, stay in touch. Those of particularly with the swallows who come and go now because of the new laws with Brexit. So it is nice that people can stay in touch. The magazine, I'm not sure if it was the objective when you launched, has become very much a real estate must-have. If you're looking to invest in Spain, buy a property, every real estate company that exists is in there and like well represented.
Well, it was intentional because my previous history was working in other top magazines here, so I already knew all the top property companies, the real estate agents. They produce very aesthetically beautiful adverts, so I wanted that in the magazine. They also have the buying power to take lots of pages, whereas other businesses sometimes struggle, especially if the market's in reverse. So I wanted them in for that reason as well. But it actually overtook me by surprise that it ended up becoming almost like the Bible for real estate. I mean, real estate companies contact us and say, we pretty much have to be in there because everybody else is in there and everybody else is looking what properties are in there. So however you manage to do that, give us a price because we're coming in as well.
Well, that hasn't been by luck. That is by design, by hard work, because you've literally put everything there to make it the point of reference that it's become. And it's true, if you're a real estate company, you're an Essential magazine, particularly in this area of the coast, then really you're missing out because it is the who's who.
It also really helped getting the magazine into a lot of hotels at the beginning. Puente Romano Hotel was the first one. It took a long time to land that agreement because for one thing, the owner of the hotel, who's Daniel Chamoun's father, was running the hotel at that time, David Chamoun, and he was a bit of a maverick. He changed his marketing director on average about every 3 months. So every time I went with a proposal and waited to find out about it, I had to start again with a new contact. Finally, I was sitting in front of one of them, and he said, well, what's in it for us? And at that point, I had never thought of offering them a personalized magazine, but I had kind of thought about it on the way to that meeting that morning. And I said, well, how about you have your own personalized version of the magazine for the hotel? Well, what would that mean? I said, well, you would have your own front cover. You would just have to have an Essential and the month on it, so it was identifiable as Essential. But apart from that, you could put what you want on the cover, something aesthetic we would expect. And then 4 pages, the first 4 pages inside the magazine where you could address your guests. So about your tennis club, your spa, beach club, restaurants. Carta del Director can be bilingual. And he said, well, that sounds great. There are people in the rooms, that would be fantastic for us. How much would that cost? And I said, tell you what, we'll do it for a year free of charge to see how it goes, if we can draw up a proper contract. And if it goes well, then we can talk about it again after that. He said, I think I can get an agreement on that really quickly. And he did. And that was the beginning.
I'd have agreed that too.
Yeah, great idea.
Really great idea. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is how it's done. That's how it's done. Thank you for the business lesson, because really I think you can apply that to anything. If you want something from somebody, give them something in return.
Yeah.
If you're giving more than you get, then you probably are going to strike up a deal. Well, it served you ever so well, and obviously it's those strategies, that thought, the quick reacting and the generosity that brought you where you are today.
Well, thank you.
Very proud of you, very happy for you. Much more to come, I'm sure. Anything in the pipeline that we should be looking out for?
Well, pretty much more of the same, but we are going to even further enhance the digital edition and our on social media platforms quite a bit. We're working on that.
Perfect.
Content, I mean, this is edition 296. We're halfway through preparing 297. It sounds like, how can you possibly keep finding things to write about? But it's amazing. The more you go into any subject, there are nuances and different angles and different people to talk to about it, and so you never have to actually repeat yourself.
So sign up to the newsletter and keep informed with Essential Magazine going into year 26. Thank you and well done.
Thank you.
Didn't you do well?
Good morning, Spain. How lovely it is to be in this beautiful new summer location, the Hard Rock Hotel. I thought this week it was perfect to talk about summer reading. So though it's now ingrained in our culture, the notion of summer reading was actually a 19th century invention of the publishing industry that sprung up in response to the creation of the summer vacation or holiday. I also Googled beach read, and this is what I found. A beach read is simply writing that is entertaining and easily digestible, usually something that you can be read or can be read quickly. devoured in a session or two under the shade of an umbrella, and easy enough to put down for a dip in the pool and then resume again. That made perfect sense to me, as when I hear summer reads, I think of sitting on a sun lounger with a cocktail in one hand and a book in the other. I also like my summer reads to be set in the summer, so if you happen to be reading it while sitting on your couch with a cup of coffee, wearing a jumper with the central heating on, at least the book is transporting you to somewhere hot and tropical. So all these books definitely have a summer setting and theme. Excuse me, and theme. I'm going to mention a few, so pens and paper at the ready. First, we have American author Emily Henry. She's a New York Times and Sunday Times best-selling author of some fantastic summer reads. Beach Read is about a romance writer who no longer believes in love, and a literary writer stuck in a rut. They exchange a summer-long challenge that might just append everything they believe about happy ever afters. Happy Place is another good one by her, about a perfect couple who broke up 6 months ago and still haven't told their best friends. They find themselves sharing a bedroom at the cottage that has been their friend group's yearly getaway for the last decade. She's a great writer, so as with all these authors I'm going to mention, if you read a book by them and you enjoy it, it's definitely worth looking at other titles. We have Emma Cowell, who has written 3 books set in Greece. Her best-selling debut was One Last Love Letter from Greece. Book 2, The House in the Olive Grove, is about 3 very different women who come together at the house in the olive grove. Unlikely friendships blossom and a season of self-discovery begins. This summer we have The Island Love Song, set on the idyllic island of Hydra. Jo Thomas writes romantic fiction about food and love. She's written some super ones set in the summer, including Chasing the Italian Dream and also The Olive Grove, both set in southern Italy. My Lemon Grove Summer, set in Sicily, Retreat to the Spanish Sun, which I've mentioned before, set in southern Spain, Escape to the French Farmhouse and its recent follow-up Love in Provence, set in France, and incorporates some delicious recipes involving lavender. Sarah Morgan is another great summer romance author. Summer Wedding, set in Corfu, and The Summer Swap, which came out this year, is about unlikely friendships and a second chance at love. There's Scottish author Jenny Colgan, who also often has a food theme running through her books, which include The Summer Seaside Kitchen and The Summer Skies, both set on a remote Scottish island. The Summer Skies was the Romantic Novelists Association Best Romantic Novel of the Year 2018. Others include Sunrise by the Sea, set off the coast of Cornwall. Katie Ford is a prolific romantic fiction novelist. She's written many set during the summer: Summer of Love, A French Affair, Summer at Sea, set on a boat off the Scottish coast, A Rose Petal Summer, set in Scotland, London and the south of France, and her most recent Island in the Sun, set on the beautiful Caribbean island of Dominica. And finally, another American author called Jenny Han. She writes romance for young adults, including To All the Boys I'd Loved Before, P.S. I Still Love You, Always and Forever, and The Summer I Turned Pretty, which has been made into a really addictive Amazon Prime series. So plenty to crack on with there. I do hope you enjoy your summer reading this summer.
This is how we do it. South Central dancing like no.
Hello and good morning Spain. Today we're going to be making morcilla con spinaca y huevos revueltos. So black pudding, spinach and scrambled eggs. Great recipe this, fantastic tapa. I've got some Spanish black pudding here, which is an onion black pudding. You can get various different types, but I really like the onion one for this dish. I've got 2 medium pans on. I'm going to fry off this black pudding first, so I'm just going to cut it up into little squares, not being too precise because it is going to fall to bits later on, so I'm not too worried. So I'm going to give it some nice little square dices here. Check my pan is hot enough, throw a little bit in, should hear that sizzle straight away, that's what we're looking for. Get the rest in there. So I've got some spinach leaves here as well, which I have already given a wash and taken the stems off, taken those woody bits off. We're going to fry that off in a separate pan, just so we can get rid of as much moisture as we can from that spinach. And then we'll be adding it back into this lovely crispy black pudding, and we'll get our scrambled eggs ready to go. So in this pan, I'm going to cook my spinach, just straight in, just looking for a little bit of seasoning, salt and pepper, quite light on the salt, and we just want to sweat this off. Meanwhile, keeping an eye on this black pudding, just moving it around. Want to get some nice crispiness going on. This spinach will take seconds, so 2 flips like that, and we are done. Straight back into the bowl. To bring that black pudding over, we want to cook this out now. So I'm just going to turn up the heat a little bit. And now we're trying to get some flavour in there. So a little bit of garlic, just going to slice that up. And that's going to go in the pan too. While that's nicely frying off, I'm just going to get a little slice of bread and cut that in half and just put that in the pan that's already got the olive oil in there and get that toasted. Really quick recipe this. So black pudding, you can see starting to get nice and crispy. Time to get our eggs ready to go. So a couple of eggs into a bowl. Gonna whisk them up nicely. This is all going to be very last minute. So once my black pudding's all ready to go, I'm going to add my scrambled eggs in, give them a move around, add the spinach in, and we are ready to go. Going to get that lovely flavour from all that black pudding coming out, all the oils, beautiful. Keeping an eye on our bread, just want to get a bit of toasting action on here. Once we see that black pudding, nice crispy bits here, all cooked, ready to go, we can go in with our eggs. I'm going to keep this moving around now. It's going to be really quick. That is the eggs done. So we're going to add now our spinach. Bit of seasoning now. And we are ready to plate up. Fantastic quick tap of this, but got so much flavour. Bit of pepper in here. A little bit of chopped parsley to finish it off. Let's give the old taste test. Lovely. Time to plate up. Got these nice 2 pieces of bread that we've toasted off. Get some nice scoops of these scrambled eggs on top with the black pudding. Again, great side dish. Fantastic little tapper, something different to do with that black pudding and spinach. Beautiful. Okay. So that is my black pudding with scrambled eggs and spinach. Let's give this a little taste test. Roasting hot, it's going to be delicious. Let's break off a bit of this toasted bread. Smash some of that black pudding and spinach. Smells fantastic. Such a good combination. Thank you very much and good morning.
That's how we do it. South Central Texas.
First time I visited Barcelona, I guess I was blown away by the beauty of the city.
The closest that the city center is to the sea, it's really part of the nature of it.
I really like to walk around and enjoy the city. It's probably the best way to do it.
The narrowness of the streets, all the little alleys that you can walk down.
There's always something new to see every time you go out.
Coming from the United States, which is not very old when you compare to what you have here in Barcelona.
Gothic, contemporary, modernist.
Come here with no stress. It's a beautiful experience.
The America's Cup's going to be absolutely huge in Barcelona, and just the vibe that's starting to build in the city as the excitement grows towards the competitions.
The America's Cup is an incredible event in itself, but the city is well beyond and way bigger than what the America's Cup is.
If you like yachting, you might want to get yourself to Barcelona in August because it's the 37th America's Cup. I had no idea the America's Cup had to do with yachting, but it does. And I love Barcelona, and I'm sure it's going to be a lovely event. Do you guys sail? Any of you into sailing?
I'm not into sailing, but follow a bit the America's Cup. It's going to be a great event because it's going on for almost 2 months. It's the oldest international sports competition in the world. It started in 1851. And the team that holds, it's actually Yacht Club, it's the Royal New Zealand Yacht Club. And they are going to be competing against a challenger from the 12th of October. But in the period up to that, from the end of August, there's 6 teams competing to be the challenger in the Louis Vuitton sponsored championship. So it's a very long event that's really going to bring Barcelona, and particularly the port area, alive. It's a big operation, there's a lot of money involved, there's a lot of people involved. And the main concentration is going to be the old port at the bottom of the Ramblers. So even if you're just there for the weekend or you've gone for the day or whatever, head down and see what's going on at the old port and watch the America's Cup, because it's a great opportunity to see really an event that's unique in the world.
From a city that is unique in the world
Indeed,
itself.
Indeed.
It has so much to offer, Barcelona. Definitely check it out if that's something of interest to you. What is of interest, I think, to all of us is what they say when you're sailing. Well, if not, it's a lot of work and that, but that relaxing, that being in touch with ourselves. And Simon, our resident psychotherapist, I think it's a great topic that you've chosen for this week, of basically just embracing our inner child, not taking ourselves so seriously.
No, exactly. It's one of my favourite subjects to work with people, because when people finally embrace it as an adult, you see the look on their face. You see how all the inhibitions drop, they start to play. It normally shows up once we're parents, and then a lot of people find it a bit distressing because they can't connect with their children in play. So I get a lot of, well, I set my children up to play and I want to join in, but I don't know what to do. And then I start judging myself or fear judgment. I feel self-conscious, and there are a few ways to work with this. First of all, try not to beat yourself up about what you don't like playing with. Look what you do like. So if you like creative stuff or you like imaginary games, embrace those with kids first. And kind of on that note, actually, kids are the best teachers. If you want to embrace your inner child as an adult, either use your kids or find somebody else's, because they'll show you how to do it. You know, they will take you, they will give you instructions, they'll say, you do this and you stand there and you say that, and just let it go with the flow.
It's the letting it go.
Yeah.
I mean, this morning we're coming into the hotel and I was excited, and I like to skip. Sometimes I like to skip just to check that it still moves and everything's working. And then someone crossed our path, immediately I stopped because I was skipping as an adult, and I got that. And then after it's like, I'm not doing anything wrong.
No.
So I need to embrace my inner child.
Absolutely.
Carry on skipping even if they're looking.
Yeah. I think we need to laugh at ourselves as well and take life and some of the most serious things in life with a bit more sense of humour.
Yeah.
And I think one of the problems adults have is that we're frightened of being wrong and seeing to be wrong in front of other people. And I think particularly when you're playing with children or being our inner child, you have to accept that being wrong is right.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You know, you can get things wrong, and in fact it can be more endearing, and actually you'll learn more that way.
Yeah. And I've seen more people in public places who've watched parents or adults playing with children actually go up and compliment them. Nobody really goes up and says something horrible. They go, wow, I saw you playing with kids. It was really, really great to see everybody smiling and laughing. You made us feel good. So when that critical voice comes in, it's probably not true. Nobody's danced like nobody's looking, even if they are looking.
Even if, but it is, at the end of the day, whoever's looking, how important are they really in our world?
Yeah.
I think we give away our power so easily to people we don't even know, as if what they say matters.
Yeah, and if you think about it, this comes up in the room as well. So people say, my parents were not great with me, but they're awesome with my children, and there's a reason for that. And often it's, they've got older, they've learnt what's important, what's not important, and they don't care so much about
and also they get it wrong. It doesn't matter because it's not the direct parent-child relationship. There's someone else to step in if it all goes wrong, which is mum and dad.
Which is true, But there's often that, I've got less life in front of me than I have behind me, so I'm going to enjoy it and embrace it because other people's judgment doesn't matter.
Don't look, dance, swim, do whatever
get
you
messy,
want. Skip,
get covered in paint.
as if no one's looking, even if they
enjoy
are.
summer in Spain.
Absolutely.
Linea Directa has come up with a squatter policy for just €24 a year. You don't have to have your home insurance with them. This is a completely separate matter to protect you from squatters. For more information, call 952 147834 or their website, lineadirecta.com. Spain has a very special spice, Spanish gold, that most of us know through the Spanish paella, but there's a lot more to saffron than that, and our wonderful wellness editor Linda is going to tell us more. Linda, saffron is a world unto itself, a very expensive
It's a very
world.
expensive world. I mean, can anyone guess how expensive it is?
I can't even imagine.
No?
Well, I normally buy the saffron powder in the supermarket because I know that the actual strands are expensive, but I don't really know how much.
Yeah, no, you have to be super careful because when it's ground, they can mix up with turmeric, paprika, they can mix it up with lots of other things. So if you really want to make sure that you're getting the proper stuff, you do have to get in the strands. And even the strands, they can play around with. So they can use fake ones, would be the safflower, which is not the saffron. And safflower is usually made for making oil, but they color it. So you want to make sure that it's red with a slightly orange or slightly yellow tips to it, and very fine little strands, which are called threads.
And the strands, where do they come from?
Right, so...
I mean, how do they get the strands?
Saffron comes from the crocus flower, and it's like a purple crocus, and the reason why it's super expensive, for a kilo of it, it could be between $8,000 and $12,000.
Wow.
For a kilo of
a
real saffron.
Yeah, for
no
a real
wonder
saffron.
they make the fake mixed up stuff for the supermarket.
Yeah. No, you have to be careful of the fake stuff because the fake stuff also makes kind of a more metallic taste, and it goes brown rather than goes like a nice yellowy color. So yeah, you have to be careful of those kind of things. But no, so the crocus flowers, I mean, they're beautiful, but they'll have 3 little stigmas, and it's the stigmas which are. That's what makes saffron. So, and they're all hand-picked. So you need 75,000 of these flowers to make 1 gram.
And they have to do it by hand.
And they have to do it by hand. So one hand picks the actual flower, and the other hand takes the stigmas out. And then they dry it, and it's like hands, like it's air dried, sun dried. But they also have to pick them before 7 o'clock in the morning. And so, and only one person can maybe just pick up to like a gram in 1 day, so that's why it's really super expensive.
So why has someone got to hand pick it and be before 7 a.m?
Oh no, because the sun can ruin it. So then the flowers can dry out in the wrong kind of way, and they can't take
just
things
before the crocus opens, they need to open it and take it beforehand.
Yeah.
Quite fascinating,
isn't it?
And how much of the saffron do you actually need for a typical paella? Because I remember I bought a packet once at some cheap gift shop around the place and was really proud of my 3 or 4 little segments. Put it into the paella, very excited the first time I'd not used the powder, the false powder. And it came out, instead of yellow, beige. And it was very disappointing with my expensive saffron. And so how much should I have been putting in?
Right.
Because it didn't look very much.
it shouldn't have gone beige. So maybe it wasn't really the real thing, because they really are very good
Well,
at doing
judging by
fake.
the store, I don't think it could have been real.
Exactly. When you say you got it in a souvenir gift shop.
Yeah, I'm very proud of myself for buying it. But,
so maybe the souvenir gift shop wasn't the best place for authentic saffron.
Yeah, so how do we know it's authentic?
Right. So the best way also to use it in paella or on a lot of the dishes, you put it with a little bit of hot water, not boiling. You don't want to like boil it, because then the nutrients come out of it. And it could take between 3 to 10 minutes for the colour to come out. And the strands, the threads, still stay red. So if they turn white or they turn another colour, then you know that you've got the wrong saffron.
You've got daffodils or something.
You've been done. You know you've been
Safflowers,
done.
I know that.
But isn't that interesting? Because I've lived in this country for over 40 years. I cook, I make paella, I use saffron, and yet I had no idea that it came from a crocus flower. And yet I've driven through the saffron fields, you see the beautiful colour, but I never realised it was a crocus, because you see them en masse all together. So that was quite fascinating.
But the benefits of them is super good. It's really good for your eyesight. It's an antioxidant, so it's really good for the immune system and lots of other things. But it's also, the psychiatrists, they say that it's like a happy drug. So they say it's even better than antidepressants. And then they say that the people who tend to eat more saffron, like paellas or the Persians, they also use a lot of saffron. They're more like happy kind of people. So if people are like happy and laughing and whatever, they reckon it's because of the saffron. But don't overdo the saffron. It can kill you.
I won't be overdoing it, don't worry.
It can
At that price? At that price?
No, that price, no. You'd have to spend like 200 euros worth of that dose to probably kill you. But yeah, you have to be careful. I mean, pregnant people have to be careful of taking it. And breastfeeding, and if you've got low blood pressure, if you're having diabetes and medication, you also have to be careful.
So you shouldn't eat paella?
No. That's in
like talking more quantities.
Yes, if you're going to have it in a supplement form, then yeah, you have to be careful and check with your doctor if it's okay, if you've got a particular problem going on.
Wonderful.
But yeah, have more paella.
Yeah, definitely.
Proper saffron.
Paella is great. I love paella. It's delicious. It's obviously one of the most known dishes in Spain. And if you've never tried making it at home, do give it a go and let us know how it goes on. And that's it, I think, for this week. We're going to have to round everyone up and say goodbye. Fascinating. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Make my day. Make my day. Make my.
Well, that's it. Our first show here at the Hard Rock Hotel in Marbella. How could we go on holiday without you? We're loving having you with us. That's it for now. Please do follow us on social media. You can watch recordings of the show from our YouTube channel. And we'll see you again next week for more of Good Morning Spain. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.